The proposal, introduced here at City Hall, would require restaurants that serve meals for kids to offer healthy options first. When Amy Barnes takes her son out to eat, it's usually milk and applesauce instead of fries and a soft drink.
Because it's really important that he gets enough fruits and vegetables during the day. That's a challenge with any child.
Two Metro Council members say they want to help. They've introduced an ordinance requiring restaurants that serve kids' meals to have healthier options. The idea is to reduce childhood obesity.
I don't think they realize the calories and the sugar contents that are in these products.
Restaurants would be required to make healthy foods the first option on the menu, though parents could opt out.
We want parents to be able to make those choices, but we also want them to have healthy choices to be able to make them from.
The Republican co-chair of the council's Health and Education Committee agrees overweight kids are a problem, but calls this idea government overreach.
I think that still becomes a parental responsibility. Are we going to then take it and add on computer screen time and figure out how to regulate that?
The Kentucky Restaurant Association agrees and says the ordinance would increase costs and have unintended consequences.
The independent restaurants would just unbundle kids' meals and maybe do a la carte items.
But Welch and Blackwell believe it's not too much to make restaurants serve both happy and healthy meals.
A worthwhile thing to ask them to do for the sake of our kids.
Amy Barnes just wants to make sure she has the final say.
It's my responsibility, and honestly, if we're going to go out to eat, we're going to choose a place where we have that option.
The proposed ordinance gets its first hearing next month. Outside City Hall, Lawrence Smith, WDRB News. Bourbonism is a growing part of Louisville's economy, but a potential tariff war could play on the Bourbon Trail. Governor Matt Bevin signing a new law expected to boost the growing $1 billion bourbon industry. House Bill 400 allows distilleries to ship bottles of bourbon to their homes. The COO of Maker's Mark says 90% of its visitors are from out of state.
And they're spending quite a lot of money when they're here with us, and most all of them want to ship their bottles home.
But this celebration comes against the backdrop of a trade war. The union threatening to impose bourbon in retaliation for tariffs on aluminum and steel approved by President Trump.
We're at the very beginning of the early days of growth with bourbon, but we want to make sure, obviously, we can ship it throughout the world, and hopefully these tariffs will not become an issue.
I don't want to be picked on.
Former Brown Foreman Vice President Brown, now chairman of the state GOP, hopes the impact on bourbon will be short-term.
We'll move forward. We just have to manage the situation.
U.S. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell in Louisville says it's not just bourbon at risk.
It's not good for Toyota, not good for farmers, not good for bourbon. And I'm among those who counsel the administration to try to avoid this, and I hope in the end we will be able to.
But McConnell says there's nothing Congress can do.
He's got the authority to do what he's chosen to do. It's just that I think many of us feel that it shouldn't be done.
WDRB's Lawrence Smith explains the comments are adding fuel to an already explosive debate. Lawrence.
Well, in a radio interview, that's where it happened. Governor Matt Bevin blasted teachers who oppose the pension plan, calling them selfish and uninformed. And those comments are not going well at the Capitol.
Keep your promise.
Teachers have been loud in their opposition to the pension reform bill, which reduces some of their benefits. On a Campbellsville radio station, Governor Matt Bevin did not mince words.
If they get what they wish for, they will not have a pension system for the younger people who are still working. And that, to me, is remarkably selfish and short-sighted.
And Bevin did not end there.
I'm just flabbergasted at how remarkably uninformed folks are. They're highly educated, but very uninformed.
At the Capitol, teachers displayed their anger at Bevin's comments.
If I had a student like him in the school system, he would have an individual education plan with behavior goals to behave nicely.
Even Bevin's usual allies unhappy with his remarks. Bam Carney chairs the House Education Committee.
As a teacher, frankly, it was offensive to me.
Teachers who packed a meeting of the Senate Education Committee applauded as the Republican chairman went out of his way to praise them.
I just want to personally thank all of our educators.
Senator Max Wise saying he was responding to the governor.
Yes, in terms of the comments that were made by the governor, I think it's only appropriate as the chairman of the Senate Education Committee to also praise our teachers.
Reacting on social media to the uproar, Bevin points out he's the only governor to fully fund the pension system and adds meaningful reform requires hard truth and bold action. But lawmakers on both sides say the governor's comments make action harder.
There's no question this just continues to divide people, and it really creates a situation that makes this process even more difficult.
I hope going forward that both sides would be much more deliberate about the things they say.
The cell phone video turned up on TMZ, throwing a spotlight on the increasing lack of in politics. It happened inside this Havana Rumba restaurant on Bardstown Road. Senator Mitch McConnell and his wife, Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao, are finishing a meal. Then this.
I would assume this was impromptu.
Tom Owen was there and saw the man come in.
This guy just came off the street. He came over, grabbed their leftovers, went out the front door, threw them on the ground, came back in, got into kind of a back and forth with Elaine. Mitch was just kind of sitting there quietly.
It's not the first time McConnell has encountered in-your-face protests, and he has criticized what he calls left-wing mobs.
It's not about persuasion. It's about intimidation. I will not be intimidated by these people.
But it's not just the left. An angry group of anti-communist protesters confronted House Speaker Nancy Pelosi in Florida over the weekend.
I do see more incivility in politics now. And it is disturbing.
U of L political scientist Dewey Clayton says Americans are dividing into tribes and increasingly intolerant of other opinions.
We're not willing to agree to disagree anymore.
Clayton, in part, blames social media and harsh rhetoric from politicians themselves.
And I'm afraid it may become worse. And if it does, it's going to lead to violence.
My front table, we're kind of in the middle of the action.
In this case, Owen and the other customers successfully diffused what could have been an even nastier incident.
I was able to kind of talk to him for a few seconds, and then the staff came over and he was able to get out.